This is the Damned Saint. What you did not know is I have vanished from society. Over the summer I was pulled into a conundrum of cosmic horror and fantastic adventure. Although I did not return home, I was able to record my adventures and send them back in the form of audio stories, just for you. It's true, we saved the world and no one knew, but now you can find out for yourself just what happened to the Damned Saint.
Welcome back as always, my friends. We are working our way through the Damned Saint Chronicles. Our hero of the damned continues on. And as do we. Now where were we in the story? Oh yes. The fractals of light would keep changing as we moved through this ever more paradoxical experience. I had since exhausted my descriptions of this immense landscape. At one point I believed it was a landscape of my mind, but that notion has long since been lost and mutated, because in this way of being, you lose shape of what was once familiar. This is why some souls are not ready to enter another corridor of the universe, yet another labyrinth of the infinite and eternal entwined. It sounds scary, but it's as beautiful and peaceful as it is intense and overwhelming for brief moments. We are getting closer to the source of one, the Almighty. You can feel it. The I, the me. It feels like a sand blowing in the wind, just fading away, but inside my soul. The ending of the 8th gate was approaching. We were no longer in a way of seeing forms. These were all types of angles and fractals of light. I've heard that's where they get the term angels from, the angles. Well, anyways, like perfect sleek mirrors, but with the burst of a color you cannot describe, but you somehow feel familiar with. As the 7th gate approaches, Z turns to me and she asks, "What have you learned so far on this majestic journey of wisdom?" I thought for a moment, then began. Well, it's incredible to me how much memory plays a role in all of our lives. And in ways we cannot see, it can sometimes control our lives. Memory can be an anchor to us in the physical body. We store them in these other spiritual bodies, it seems. Of course, all bodies are spiritual, but we have lost hidden parts of ourselves in these other bodies, and that's all death really is. Kinda the walking through these gates, but along the way we are corralled like sheep to go back to Earth. We have more work to do, more lives to live, they say. But what if something is just keeping us from the final gate, keeping us from leaving their realm where they have all the control? She explains that because memories give us identity, we are supposed to be souls trapped in the dream loop. This loop has been fractaled into many bodies to confuse us, of course. We should be able to enter and exit all of them, and at one time we could, but when the archons were put in charge, they sealed off the final gate. Why we must stop Vincent Apollo, she says, is because he doesn't want to open the final seal to let us break free, to let us traverse these realms at will like we used to. He is a puppet to the archons, who want to use him to permanently seal us out and send into the final realm, the realm beyond the first gate. A being that will terrorize and plant a seed to grow and destroy that realm. I interrupted. So they want to corrupt heaven, in other words. She nodded, then continued speaking. Our keepers, Mr. Saint, are insectoids, you could say. At least that is what they describe them as. Mostly they navigate the astral. They are usually the ones we see in sleep paralysis. No way, I interjected. You mean that weird dream vision I had that one time was for real? I knew there was something different about that. I knew it. Yes, Mr. Saint. It was all too real, she says. And that was yet another one of your psychic incidents that put you on the map.
Ones like you and I, Mr. Saint, who become targets. Now, so to explain what happened in my dream, which I didn't explain to her, but I feel you ought to know about it, seeing as this is our story here together. See, this one time I was with a woman. We went out for drinks and I ended up staying the night. I'll spare you the erotic details. Unless you're into that kind of thing, then drop a comment and a like, and maybe I'll consider a fantasy erotica series. Haha, you never know. Anyways, there had been some strange altercation with a jealous guy earlier that night, and my anxiety from that and my inebriation mixed with some sexual exhaustion, we'll say, well, I went into a deep sleep. Before we fell asleep, she mentioned that she overcame cancer previously. She was a little bit older than me, not too much, but just, enough to have experienced cancer and, whatever. Anyways, and I got the sense she had a very spiritual nature, and that on the other side, there were forces at work for her. Something I sensed originally, which is why we kind of connected, obviously. However, I did not suspect that these forces, that they would be territorial. And at one point, I awoke, not in my body, although it would seem like it. I wasn't who I am now, but I hadn't astral projected enough up to that point to know I was in my astral body. And to my shock, I realized there was like a mantis, like humanoid type dude standing over me. Side note, I would later learn at one point from another associate of mine, he's a female, whatever, but she was big into Reiki and all that kind of stuff, and she told me that a lot of the insectoids are actually healers and they work with healing. So I find it interesting that someone who had overcome cancer, been very spiritual and religious about it, had this kind of insectoid / archonic type force that was kind of like putting me in check. But it wasn't standing over me, not in the sense you'd think. You see, if it was standing where it was supposed to be, it would be in between my body. Like, it would be physically impossible. That's how I knew I was in my astral body. And it was holding me paralyzed, but also made me wake up in that state to witness it. Then, kind of like a shock, like it Alice Coopered me. It kind of, shock and awe. And then put me back to sleep. I retained that memory for a reason. I'm still trying to figure it out to this day. A therapist and I were once pretty close, but I believe something kind of psychically overcame her and her head exploded. No, I'm just kidding. But alright, back to the story. So yeah, we are unaware of the dream loops, layers, so we mostly are conflicted and caught up with ourselves, stuck in time. This is my understanding of it from everything that Z had been telling me so far, that the loop of linear time, she says, is a prison. The only escape isn't to leave, but become aware of the multi-bodies. Z explains that in this realm we could leave and jump back into any part of time, and it's not like space-time travel. We are not subject to aging. The 8th gate was awareness of the loop. The gateway from death's 9th door. You pass through 0 and end up inside the loop, which is 8. So here we are. After the awakening to the loop, you step inside its mechanics, the 7th gate. 7th gate reveals our pathways to identity. The parts of us we show the world, and the parts we don't show the world. And that's all I got so far, basically, of what she had been explaining to me as we've been passing through these levels. And then suddenly she stops and says, "But I sense trouble or an obstacle up ahead." Now, if you recall from the previous episode, our third companion, my spiritual guardian Ezekiel, is using my dog back on Earth. He's using the body of my dog back on Earth to travel with us. He's my guardian. He's, ever since, I had enough of those psychic weird splits happen where eventually he came into my life. He really got no choice. It's kind of like, it's like that nagging, whatever, but at the same time you love them a lot and you care for them and you die for them, but they're also kind of like scolding you, kind of like a parent telling you what to do, but it's not like he's an elder or even a he. It's like a spiritual guardian. It's a being that manifested from my higher self, I think, to protect me. He's also very mysterious, so it could be myself, really. I don't really know. But yes, he's been quiet this whole story so far. But yes, he's still moving along with us. And this will soon be important, if not now, in the coming story. So, anyways, as we begin to enter into the 7th gate, there comes an intense pressure, like something is pushing us back. What is that, I ask. Oh no, she says. We haven't much time. They have located us, trying to stop Apollo. We must hurry, be prepared for anything. It begins to feel like a pressure akin to if there was a wind, like a wild whooshing wind whipping all around us. It became clear this wasn't a phenomenon like elements like you would experience in the physical world with wind or rain, but a force some other being was using against us. Z began to yell so we could hear her. I reached for Ezekiel, but he was out of my reach. I began to get worried. At first I couldn't make out what she was saying. Then it came into focus.
Hey everyone, this is Matthew Forbes of Forbes Words, and it turns out I've been selected to take a chance at the People's Artist, sponsored by Johnny Depp himself. So, I'll keep you informed of more details, but in the future coming up, voting will start, and your vote will make all the difference. Let's win together so we can build our platform and go beyond the stars. Thank you.
My final message, damned saint. We must remember our memories without letting them influence our infinite self. Once we can accept the infinite, the 7th gate, we must merge with our 6th body, the awakening of the eternal nature of the realms. This is what lies beyond the infinite. The infinite is merely a container. Outside the container is the eternal. This is where they try to stop us. Who? I yelled back. Who are you talking about? Slowly the pressure eased off our bodies and we could feel back to center again. They use your memories against you, she said. Remember that. They might try to hypnotize you, but in a way you'd never realize it. Who are you talking about, Z? I don't see... But before I could finish my sentence, before I could finish my thought, I saw it. This mysterious being, almost a creature, but almost just a shadow. It was constantly and ever shape-shifting and undefined. Z and I looked at each other, then back at this thing. Archon, she said. Archon, I thought. I gasped in shock for a second. Well, speak of the devil. This illusion act must be some kind of camouflage, I thought. They still have influence on our perception, these outer bodies, however. Quite terrifying. And after a cold pause, it spoke to us through a sense of telepathy, more than our bodies were operating at.
You intrude on our domain. You seek an action that we cannot permit.
So in other words, I said, this thing's saying, get off my property? I'm really sick and tired of all this. I just want to stop this freaking guy. I've had it. I'm not even human anymore. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm experiencing everything all at once. I'm supposed to go on this mission to stop some guy. It's like, I've had enough. And here and then, these things actually exist. I'm looking at an archon right now. This is it. Alright, look, you hillbilly archon. We aren't going to take your shit. Now kindly get out of our way, or... I looked around to see Ezekiel's eyes looking out the vessel of my dog Maple's body. I can feel the intensity of Z's fear. Or, I said, or you'll become dog food. You got that? I tried to sound tough. After another cold pause, and it seemed to show a sign of anger through its warping display of color and shape. It was like sending a signal that it was pissed off at us. Z stepped closer to me. Not good, she says. Not good at all. Don't worry, I say. We can find a way through. What makes you so sure, she says. You're not a saint of war, are you? No, that would be St. Elizabeth, actually. But you're in luck. What? She asked with a look of concern. I'm the only saint you've got. An archon battling saint, I am not, but with a little sleight of hand, this guy's gonna wish he never messed with the damn saint. Again. Oh, that's reassuring, she says. Hey, when did you become funny, I said with a smile. For the first time, I saw an authentic humanness emanate from her eyes. She wasn't just a stoic warrior after all.
Until next time, this is the Damned Saint, your guide into the unknown territory, signing off. And remember, you're not doing right unless you disturb some, distract others, and attract your heart's fortune. Align yourself with the truth. Tune your spiritual radio to the station of your soul. There is no better vibe, no higher high once your soul is aligned. This is a Forbes Word production.
The damned saint. Last word. The damned saint. Out. Last word.